Taji actually is going to be our guest speaker today, and he's going to actually kind of lead the conversation, give you guys some information. So make sure that you have your notes ready and available, and take notes today. And then that's pretty much it. This is really a nice informational session. We want to make sure that we give you some info, so that way you can actually start learning and trading and not trading, but understanding more of this coin. And here we go. We got Mr. Taji right here. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Taji. Taji is going to kind of help us today, learn what we need to know, like the beginning, of the coin or knowledge of crypto, right?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So we are going to talk about crypto today, but in addition to crypto, we'll also talk about traditional stocks, as well as foreign exchange, which is commonly known as the FX market also. So yeah, man, just whatever type of questions you guys have about cryptocurrency, please make sure that you send them over. I won't be instructing anybody to make any particular investments today, but what I will be talking about today are some very basic things that we all should and can do whenever we're thinking about investing, particularly with cryptocurrency. So as always, investing isn't something that should be done leisurely. It's something that you have to put a lot of time into, you have to put a lot of energy into. You have to do your own research. These are your assets and your resources that you're wagering. So it makes sense that you put a lot of time and investment into researching and everything like that. One of the main things that you have to determine when you're becoming an investor is what type of investor do you want to, what type of investing are you looking to do? Do you want to be a long-term investor? Are you looking to put money into the market and just let it grow for years and years or months and months and months? Are you a short-term investor? Are you looking to take a certain amount of cash flow and put it into a certain asset and get that return in a more immediate fashion? So those are one of the most important things that you need to discover, or you need to, figure out before you actually even begin the whole investment process. What type of investment are you looking to make? Once you figure out what type of investments you're looking to make, then you have to figure out, okay, what is my risk management here? How much can I financially, take? What type of financial hits can I take? How much can I put out there into the market and not necessarily be hurt financially? So you also want to invest your money into assets that are financially feasible for you. So it's a lot of research that goes into it. It's a lot of different ways and a lot of different avenues for you to invest your money with the stock market. Me personally, when I first started to invest, I learned to invest at the school that I work at, Chatham Academy. Shout out to brother Tony Cadell Lyons. A lot of you guys may be friends with Mr. Lyons. The brother is very solid with his knowledge of stocks and trading and everything like that. So, he took it upon himself to teach the entire school, the student population, and the faculty, the skill of trading. So initially I started out trading foreign currency, which is the FX market. And one of the most prominent things, or one of the most beneficial skills that I learned from trading on the Forex market is how to read charts, stock charts. That way you have a better prediction as to whether or not the stock that you're looking to invest in, whether it's going to go up or whether it's going to go down. Now, there's a lot of other different factors that kind of weigh into that as well. World economics, the economic health of particular countries and corporations and things like that. So it's a lot of different things. World news, COVID, if, a particular factory, they have a COVID outbreak that affects the stock of that particular company as well. So it's a lot of different things that factor into whether or not you should make an investment into a particular asset, but you definitely want to make sure that you do your own personal research. That's very, very important. And make an informed investment. That's the best investment to make, a very informed investment.
So what would you consider like the meaning or definition of crypto? Like, because a lot of people kind of had that question, like, what is cryptocurrency? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so cryptocurrency is basically digital currency. It's not regulated, so to speak. So, typically you have cash or you have different foreign currencies that we traditionally trade for goods. But with cryptocurrencies, you can actually trade digital currency for certain goods and things like that based on whether or not the particular entity that you're trying to purchase from, whether they accept crypto coins. So it's basically digital currency.
Digital currency. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then with the form of digital currency, because it's a bunch of different ones, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you were kind of talking about a little bit, like as far as doing your research on them, right? Because it's so many different coins, yep, right, that have come out. And so when people are looking or trying to like learn this, right? Maybe, do you know like a resource or a site that maybe they could start off with, or kind of do some research on how to set up, like how do they set it up? Like how do they get an account, or where do they go to get accounts to even start learning about the cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so there's different trading platforms that you can get your coins or buy your coins from. Coinbase is a very popular one. Kraken is another popular platform of people buy and trade currency, digital currencies and things like that.
Kraken, spell that one for me.
Kraken. Yep. It's another platform where people traditionally trade digital currencies and things like that. And more so than anything else, my advice would just to be, okay, so most of us know what Bitcoin is, right? So a lot of times people get Bitcoin and cryptocurrency confused with being the same thing, but Bitcoin is just one form of cryptocurrency.
That's exactly kind of what I wanted to do.
So Bitcoin
that's what I wanted to kind of decipher.
Yeah, it's just one form of cryptocurrency. You also have Dogecoin, which is a coin that was popularized as of late. A couple months ago, it had a pump and dump thing going on with the dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people. I bought that at the end.
Yeah. Ethereum Classic, Litecoin. It's a lot of different more stabilized currencies or more established cryptocurrencies that you can get into, and then you have your startup currencies, which Dogecoin would be considered a startup, even though it's very popular. The other coin you and I was talking about,
the Shibu.
Yeah, that coins like that. So you have coins that you can invest as little as less than a penny in, and then you have coins such as Bitcoin, which are valued at like $47,000
now. Yeah, it's been going up and down.
Yeah. It's a very volatile currency. I actually like it though. I like the volatility. I prefer it move like dollars and hundreds of dollars like that instead of just cents at a time.
Okay. Because that was going to be a question that I had. I know for me, I'm starting off, but I think I didn't buy into Bitcoin, I think, or I did the other one. Was it Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah.
So I think I purchased a little bit of that one, but not much. But I did do Doge, and then a friend of mine was telling me about the Shibu. I always say Shibu. But that's what he was telling me, like if I wanted to kind of get my feet wet, to just start off, that I could start with some of the, like that one that was under a penny, like a fraction of a penny.
Yeah, so that's a very low risk investment, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not putting a lot of money into it, but at the same time, it has a lot of value if that particular coin gains value and gains some momentum and actually turns into an established currency. Sort of like a lot of people with the Dogecoin and Bitcoin, people who got in early on Bitcoin, are millionaires now, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because they invested early on. So it's a lot of different startup currencies like that we can put money into. You don't have to necessarily have thousands of dollars initially to invest, but you do want to have enough money to be able to have options and to diversify your portfolio, which means just to have different options within the group of assets that you own. So you wouldn't want to. You can, but it's not wise to put all of your money into one asset. You want to spread your resources around. That way, you have more of a probability of getting a return on your investment.
Okay, that's good to know. So like what you said, starter coins are kind of like the Shibu, Doge, right? But then you say like a more what's the term? Established coin with history, right? It's like Bitcoin or something. Ethereum, along those lines. So it's almost kind of like stock thing, like you said, diversify. So you maybe want to have a starter one, an established one, a mid-level one. Okay, so
one that you put a little bit of money into, and you don't necessarily have to watch. one that that's maybe it's on a run, you know what I'm saying, and you've read the chart correctly and you see that it's going to run for a little bit, so you can put some money into it and get a return within a week or two, depending on what type of run it's making. So,
because that's what I did with Doge.
Yeah,
I jumped in on Doge, and then next 2 days I had doubled my money. So I put 1,000 in on Doge. 2 days later, I think it was up to like 2,100, 2,200.
Get that.
Then it went all the way up to 25, and then it went back down. And then my friend was like, well, just pull it out and leave it in Rock, because I did that one through my Robinhood account.
Yeah.
So she was saying like I could pull it out to get the in because that's another thing we want to go over. So I'm gonna look at the questions in the chat. Any of you in the chat, use the Q&A. I'm actually getting ready to put the form in the chat link, but use the Q&A for your questions, because I'm gonna be going there to do the Q&A. She says, what's likelihood? So she says, is it too late to purchase Bitcoin? So
absolutely not.
No.
So I was in that mindset at one time as well. So here's how it works. You don't necessarily have to spend $47,000 to purchase one Bitcoin. You could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, whatever it is you're comfortable investing in. So say you want to invest $500 into a Bitcoin. So then you have a fraction of a Bitcoin. Now, as the Bitcoin gains value or loses value, your $500 investment gains value or loses value. Yeah, so you don't.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily. You can still get in the game, and you don't necessarily have to buy a whole coin.
Right, because maybe you guys may not want to put 34,000, 40,000 on one coin. Absolutely. But that's a very good question. So you can purchase a fraction of the coin, Amanda. Jade says, what's the likely that Bitcoin will collapse?
Bitcoin is the most established and most reputable of the cryptos. Truth be told, nobody can say with certainty because of how unstable cryptocurrency are as a whole. If any of them were to have long-lasting power, it would be Bitcoin, though. So to answer this question, I would say not very likely.
Not very likely for Bitcoin, yeah.
If I had to answer, much less likely than any other coin that you would invest in.
Okay. So that's a good question. Not very likely, but of course he can't say yes, fully yes or no, but not very likely. Because like Taji stated, Bitcoin it's established itself, right, as a solid coin. In this out of all of these different coins, Bitcoin is definitely established, right? So then what's another question that we have? So one question is cryptocurrency secure since it's not government monitored?
In a sense, no, but at the same time, it doesn't have the same regulations as your traditional banking system. Whereas if you owe the government money, they can go into your account and take your money and things like that. If your money was transferred or converted into crypto currency, then they wouldn't be able to take your cash or whatever the case may be. So it's secure in that sense. But as far as there's no resolute way to say whether or not these investments will hold up long term, just like the regular stock market. It could crash.
It could crash.
Anything could crash. You know what I'm saying? Unexpectedly. But from a government standpoint, and sanctions and things like that, crypto's in a very healthy place.
Right. And because that's the thing, is the government cannot get any right now. That's part of the thing. Because in one of the newest questions that they added to the tax return this year was, have you invested in any cryptocurrency? Yep. And see, they didn't have that before, right? They didn't have that question before. So a lot of people, when we were doing tax returns, I was asking them like, hey, did you invest in crypto? But so of course it's just a question. It's not something that, they had. It's not like the stock form, right? So as of right now, that's kind of similar to what, Taji was saying, even though it's not regulated on the same standards of stocks, right, for the market. But right now, for us as people, this is a very good way to trade and kind of do investments without the government being all in your pocket. Because if you're not familiar with capital gains, write that word down, capital gains, okay, and look that up. And then maybe that'll be a tax class that we go over. But capital gains is part of one of the reasons why the government wants to get involved in the cryptocurrency, why they're trying to start maybe getting into things or getting more information from people, because right now their hands are not in it. And you know, when the government cannot get their hands in anything, they're always looking eventually.
A lot of times we think that we need a certain amount of money to start investing. And truth be told, after investing and trading for maybe 4 to 5 years now, you do need a certain amount of money to be comfortable. I would say anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 to be comfortable enough to move your resources, your money around to be able to do the things that you're trying to do. Now, if you have less money than that, then you just have to be really, really precise about
what
you're picking.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Now, okay, so with the coins, for the most part, I look at all the crypto coins as long-term investments for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Because they do go up and down. They always move up and down just like the regular stock market, but not dramatic to the point where you'll lose hundreds of dollars unless you're investing in something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, a more established coin that has a lot of volatility dollar-wise. Most cryptos move 50, 20 cents a day, 30 cents, whatever the case may be. So it's not as much pressure, you know, to make a correct call on the cryptocurrency as it is a currency on a regular stock market. Yeah. So yeah, I would say $5,000, but you can invest as little as $100. You can invest as little as $10. You know what I'm saying? If you want to take $10 and buy multiple shares of a penny stock, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? If you just leave it alone and
just kind of, because my thing is right, but most of these people are probably just getting their feet wet. So, but they can purchase something between $100, $200, $300, $400, $500.
They have disposable income. So you want to have disposable income, plainly put. But yeah, if you could $1,000, $2,000, that'd be a good start off point. You don't want to. That's the other thing. You don't want to put a whole lot of money into it before you know what you're doing, like for real. So yeah, my apologies. After trading for 4 or 5 years, that's how much money I would need to do the stuff that I do now in the stock market.
Right, let's do like we was in the beginning.
Yeah, so when I first started off,
it was like $100.
It was $100 because I didn't know whether I was going to lose it or not. You know, I didn't really have a whole lot of disposable income at the time. So my initial investment when I was trading foreign currency was $100, and then I made it $10, and I was hooked. You know what I'm saying? Like just making that $10 made me increase my interest in what it was that I was doing. It made me research and put the time into it and everything like that. So yeah, your initial investment can be whatever it is that you want it to be based on what it is that you're trying to do at the moment. If you're seriously trying to get into the market, then you probably want to have some money to be able to move around, maybe a couple thousand. But if you just want to, get in some stocks and kind of see how everything works, maybe a few $100s.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on what you're investing in.
Exactly. So that would be a good answer, because again, this is a starter course, right? Yeah. So that's what I had recommended. Taji been doing this a minute, y'all. So somebody just asked about that. We're gonna swipe that 5 to 10K right now, because we know a lot of y'all, a lot of us, because I'm part of it with you, right? A lot of us are brand new, right? Just getting into it. So and so like you said, anywhere between, again, we're not here to kind of tell you what and how much to necessarily put, like, your individual income, what you have as disposable, because what did I tell you guys when I did that YouTube video? Do not use your rent money. Do not use your gas bill, your light, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that you need this money for. Like he said, this needs to be disposable income. So when I sent you that message about budgeting, right, you can add this as a expense, right, or a category for you to budget out, right? You want to put a certain amount of money away when your paychecks or your businesses with the income that you're getting, specifically for investing. All right, this money is for nothing else but investing. So you definitely do not want to be using your home bills, okay, for this to get that started. How many different? So Beverly is so many, so too many to even say. What, thousands?
Thousands. People produce their own personal coins daily. It's hard to keep track with it. So that's why when you do research it, you want to research more established coins. Those are the coins that you would prefer to trade, especially as a beginning trader, because they don't have as much risk behind them. So yeah, you definitely want to look at the more established coins, but yes, thousands and thousands of coins.
Yeah, it's thousands, thousands of them, and that's going to be part of your research is to look at the coins that. So when they're looking at the coins, for like history, does it say that? Will it let them know, like, how will they know what's established and what's new?
Well, for the most part, the more established coins are the coins that have the highest value,
Okay,
so to speak. Not all the time, but for the most part, those are the most established coins because they have a lot of backing behind them. A lot of people are putting their money behind them, and they're less likely to crash. Whereas like a coin like Dogecoin, who doesn't have as many people behind it from years of people, getting behind the coin. So yeah, that's one way. But as always, when you research these coins, like it's best to just go type it into Google. That's how I do it. You know what I'm saying? So if I run across a particular coin that's they're saying is on a run or it's going to perform well or whatever the case may be, then I go research the coin. You can check the history, depending on how long the coin has been established, from week to month to year, and just kind of check its performance and everything like that. But yeah, they could definitely, that's one of the best ways is to Google it. But your more established coins will usually be the coins that have a higher cash value.
Okay. So you heard that? Yeah. That, because that helps with me too. Because when you on there, you see so many, and you're like, and that was kind of my question, like, well, how do I know what's new and what's established?
Yeah, so typically a startup coin is going to start up like close to a penny. You know what I'm saying? So the least value that the coin is kind of indicates how much brand is getting. Yeah, how much backing is getting. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so that kind of determines that. So like a coin like Bitcoin, that's up into the 5 digits. That's a lot different because it's one of the first established coins that people really started getting behind. So yeah, that's one of the main indicators that you can use is the price of the
price
coin.
of the coin.
Yeah.
Will kind of show you like how long it's been established, the longevity of it.
Now that won't always be an indicator, but that's one of the better indicators because you can have coins that's been out here for 5 years and they're still trading at 5 cents. You know what I'm saying? They may still be sticking around, and you may have a coin that may have a big run and it's up into the hundreds of dollars. So that's just an indicator, but always just do your research and go Google it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Bitcoin. I was looking at something about Bitcoin. I didn't even know Bitcoin stretched all the way back to like 2007, 2009. So like Bitcoin's been around for that long. You know what I'm saying? So it's other coins that may have been established, a couple years after that may not be running. You know what I'm saying? It's cryptos that may have been started recently that are running. So the best thing to do always is just research it, put your research into it.
So one of the questions was, what's some resources or ways on how to research the coin? Mm-hmm. So like when you say research, where are they going to look up the coins or the listing? Are they going straight to the Coinbase, the Robinhood?
That's where you can check the value of the coins. You can get a listing of all the values of the coins there. You know what I'm saying? If you go to like Robinhood, Robinhood has a sector, the crypto sector, where you can just put in crypto and show you all the cryptos that they particularly trade at that point. But Benzinga, BENZINGA.
BENZINGA.
Yep, and other
I'm taking notes, you all, so I'll make a little sheet after this with what we went over. She said, does Ameritrade? That's regular stocks, right?
TD Ameritrade is regular stocks.
Yeah, TD Ameritrade is regular stocks. So but a lot
of those traditional stock platforms are trying to lean over, like you talk about the government, and get that crypto activity. So I'm not sure TD Ameritrade has a crypto trading service. Sometimes they will, but they won't trade like the startup coins. So they'll trade Bitcoin, they'll trade Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, some of the more established coins, but they won't even trade like Doge coin. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I remember that wasn't on every platform. Yeah, same way the Shibu isn't on every platform.
Yeah, so you just got to check it, platform. But the Coinbase and Kraken, those type of platforms are specifically designed for crypto users. So those would be the best platforms to go get that type of information from.
So Coinbase, you guys, COINBASE is one of them. Kraken, which is Kraken. Okay. And then these are platforms where you're actually researching and can purchase. So like when I did the Shibu one, that I did that on crypto.com, right? So crypto.com is another one that you can actually go to. Crypto.com also has a huge listing of the coins. So like when I was doing my research, that's where I did a lot of my research was on crypto.com. I really like crypto.com to be honest. It helped me a little more understand a little more than Robinhood. But I did that on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, but Robinhood is just a platform. It makes trading a lot easier. You know, it has a lot of particular details that you normally have on a different platform. Also, somebody asked down there about eToro.
Okay.
So eToro is an excellent platform to kind of jumpstart. eToro is like a mock. So you have a mock account. You know what I'm saying? So it basically lets you trade with fake money until you actually become good enough to go out and trade with your own money. It's called a demo account. That's what it's called. My apologies. So it's a demo account. You know what I'm saying? So it allows you to learn all the little intricate parts of trading before you actually start investing your money, your personal resources into the market.
I know you over this way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Put this up. Yeah. You need it back there. Okay. So I like that. So that's kind of like a practice kind of like a practice. So like because I do that sometimes for my courses, get them a practice quiz. So they get to play around with it first before formally jumping out there.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, that's gonna definitely go on the list. She said it's eToro. Mm-hmm. And that allows you guys to kind of play with it. I honestly, so if you're new, because I'm gonna sign up with that. If you knew, I would definitely set up something like that, because then that way you're kind of able to see exactly kind of how the process works, get your feet wet without formally spending your money, right? So yeah, that I didn't even know that was out there. That's a really good it's like a mock. I like that.
Also, I believe TD Ameritrade has a mock a demo account thing as well, where you can learn how to trade traditional stocks with without investing your money as well. It starts off with like $150,000 or something like that, and just allows you to learn the intricate parts of trading without taking losses.
Okay, trading without trading.
Yeah.
Jared says, can you move money from one coin to another?
Yeah, so that's what those platforms like Coinbase and Kraken, and that's what they're for. So you can move your Litecoin to a different digital currency and things like that. Those are what those platforms are basically used for. So yeah, you absolutely can.
Is it etoro.com?
Yep.
Okay, I'm typing that in for you now, Roxy.
And I actually had an eToro app, so I believe that it should still be .com. Yeah, I had that app.
Okay, so it's an app.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Said, can you spell these foreign words, please? Beverly, what kind of words do you need spelled out? Because like I said, I'm writing stuff down, but I'm also gonna send you guys the list that I'm taking notes on once we're done.
Binance is also another excellent platform.
I was gonna ask you about that one.
Yeah, Binance is another excellent platform to trade and purchase currency on as well. So yep, those would be the best three. And if you are already on Robinhood, you can do a little bit on Robinhood, but it's not advised to trade your crypto on Robinhood just because sometimes Robinhood crashes.
Okay, because someone else said that about Robinhood, like it's not necessarily good to purchase on Robinhood.
Robinhood is very user friendly, but it's not structured to get your money out when you want to all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a part of it, but yeah, man. So you definitely want to use those other platforms when you trade in cryptos.
So Binance is BINANCE.com. All right. Binance, I do have a Binance account as well. So I know I have Binance, I have Robinhood, I have crypto.com, and I have Coinbase. So those are the four, I think, that I just said: Binance, Crypto.com, Coinbase. Yeah. So, and you can set up on more than one too. So that's not, that's the other thing. You don't have to only do one. You can set up on more than one because like Taji said, some platforms maybe not have some of the starter coins, but then some platforms, have majority of them. And then some platforms, you can only buy one from the other. You can only buy some coin on one platform. Like Shibu is not on, I want to say it's not on Robinhood yet. It's not on Coinbase. It's on Coinbase now. Crypto.
Coinbase and crypto.com.
Crypto.com, right? Because I know I have to go to crypto.com to buy that Shibu.
Then sometimes you have to purchase another currency with your US currency and then convert that currency over to the Shibu currency. So it could be a process at times, but that's why it's best to use those platforms because you just can't do it from Robinhood.
Okay. Okay.
All the time.
Right. So that and then too, you do want to stick with like major platforms like Coinbase, Binance. Those are platforms that are like well known, major platforms. Robinhood is too. Robinhood is Robinhood is it would be considered a major platform.
But for people that trade cryptos, it's kind of like a no-no in the crypto community.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I was seeing when I was doing my research.
They don't consider you really trading cryptocurrency if you're doing it on
Robinhood. Yeah. Okay.
But you can make. I've made
money.
Right. On Robinhood, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you're going to be trading cryptos exclusively for a long time, you definitely want to get into these other platforms.
Okay. So one thing that what was talked about, is there a fee for transferring one coin to another?
Sometimes, but it's minute, it's small, but and it also depends on how many coins you're purchasing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could depend.
Yeah. It depends.
So yeah, it can be, and then it would also depend on the volume of what you're trading. Because if you're doing $1,000 transaction, then that's going to be that fee based off of that $1,000 transaction. If you're doing it off 10,000, then the fee is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just was saying that it's gonna be different based off of the coin amount and the value.
Sometimes the platforms have their own fees that they charge as well. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, somebody in my VIP community was telling me that they was trying to buy Shibu and they went on some platform and it was trying to charge them like $60. And I was like, get off of there immediately. Do not stop, go past, do not stop, go. So
that's how they make their money off the commissions of the trade a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes they will have their little fees in that.
Okay. So yeah, be mindful of that, you all, because a lot of these platforms, you can trade and do things without paying like astronomical fees. So if you stick to like the, what we're kind of telling you, the crypto.com, the Coinbases, when I was doing things, if it was a fee at all, it was very minimum. Like, I don't think you should be paying $50, $60, $70 in fees for whatever. Like I said, one of the community members had stated that whatever site that they were on, and I immediately was like, no, go to crypto.com, and it was like no fee to sign up and purchase the coin at the time. So again, that's part of the reason why you're getting these different links, right? We're giving you some different links, some different resources, so that way you can look around and see what kind of works for you and your budget.
Once again, when you do this investment thing, there's some very basic things that you always want to make sure that you're mindful of. So we talk about the popular stocks, you know what I'm saying, the Dogecoin or whatever the stock of the day is, so to speak, like the Shibu coin not so long ago. You have to be mindful of investing in those type of assets, especially if you're just hearing about it. That means that they've already been on the run. The stock market is an up and down entity. You know what I'm saying? It's going to go up and it's going to go down. So by the time most of us hear about a stock performing really, really well, it's going to be on its way down. So that's why it's important also to be able to read those charts, like I mentioned initially when I first started talking. Anybody that's really interested in getting into the stock market, make sure that you download this app, Japanese Candlesticks, and it basically gives you, it's not a cheat sheet, but it trains you to be able to read the points, the pips, and the candlesticks and the wicks and everything on the stock chart, so you can have a better prediction of whether that particular stock is going to go up in price or go down in price. So that's very important. You know what I'm saying? We, some of those baseline things, we don't jump on a popular stock at the end of the stock and be left holding the bag at the end. So you have a lot of people doing that. The AMC stock not so long ago, which is
I haven't heard of that.
The movie theaters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they went on a run not so long ago, and a lot of people had jumped behind them, and they were making money and things like that. And a lot of people would go out and buy a lot of shares because they were trying to make a lot of money really quick right then. But then once the market decides that they're going to drop the price on that particular asset, the people that came in at the end and bought it really, really high are going to be the ones that lose the money.
Right.
Once it averages back down, you know what I'm saying, it hits the support lines and everything like that. So just be mindful, you know what I'm saying, especially with new investors. A lot of times when we first hear, once we first start investing, we're hearing what everybody else is doing, and that's what we're sending our money to. Be an informed investor. Make sure that you're taking the time out to talk to people and spend your own time investing what it is that you want to put your money into, and don't just jump on the popular stock. Because a lot of times that's a pump and dump. That's it's a term in the stock market. That's basically you pump up a particular stock, cryptocurrency, whatever the case may be. You pump it, get it to a certain price, and once they've made that amount of money, then they dump it and they start selling it at a high rate and at a high value. And those of us that are coming in on the tail end of that, buying big shares and buying a lot of shares in these particular companies, will be the ones that lose money once the market decides that they're going to drop that pump.
Okay.
Pump, whatever the case may be. So pump and dump, and make sure that you're thoroughly researched in what it is that you're investing in. Don't jump on nothing at the last minute, because that's called gambling.
Right. Okay. That's gambling.
That's gambling. You know what I'm saying? Anytime that you don't take the time out to thoroughly invest, to research what it is that you're investing in, you're gambling your money. And a good investment is not a gamble. You know what I'm saying? We only want to make good investments.
Okay. You got any other notes that you want to get in?
I got a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to get back to the questions, because I want to make sure that we get everybody's stuff in.
She said, did he say candlestick? Yeah, it's called Japanese candlestick.
Yep, candlesticks. Yep, and the candlestick is basically most of us have seen a stock chart, and you see those little lines. Some of them are red, green, the grid. Yeah, but if you look real closely at them, they have little lines either at the top of them or at the bottom of them, and those are indicators, whether or not that particular stock that you're looking at is going to go up or down, depending on how many of those in a row you see. So if you so if you study the patterns of the candlesticks and the wicks, then you could have a better prediction of what that stock is going to do in that immediate time frame. Now, as always, world news can change that. You know what I'm saying? You could have thoroughly researched a stock or a currency and want to put your money into it, or whatever the case may be, and then a world event will cause will cause for the price to drop, no matter how much research and no matter how much you've read the chart and everything like that. But on a more practical day-to-day basis, that's a skill that you really need to know, how to read the chart.
So that goes along even with this with the coin, because I was thinking that, not trying to get away from it, but that's part of the reason why I didn't formally do like a lot of stock investing, because that, as I learned, like that's what you need to be knowing and reading is those charts. Yeah. So this is similar.
Yeah, it's very similar, because say you go in and you look at the history of that particular cryptocurrency that you want to invest in, and you're looking not for the particular day, but for the month or for the past 3 months. How has this stock been performing for the past 3 months? Then you can tell from that chart there whether or not it's healthy or whether it's not, it's in a decline. And then that will give me an indicator. You always want to find proper indicators to have you make a more informed investment. That's a powerful indicator whether or not you want to invest your money in that particular asset or not, based off reading the chart.
Okay.
Yeah, so you definitely use it on a daily basis in a traditional stock market, but yeah, you use it with cryptocurrency as well, because it allows you to kind of better diagnose the health of that stock over the past few months or whatever time interval you're looking at.
Okay. So this one again, you all, is called Japanese candlestick, for you to be able to.
Yeah, and it's an app, and you can get it on the Apple Store or the Google Store, whatever the case may be. And yeah, it's a tutorial, and it tells you, look for these certain patterns. That means that you should invest in this particular asset. Look for this particular pattern. That means that you should withdraw your money or get out of this particular place. So yeah, I that's a very foundational skill needed in any type of investing, is being able to read a chart.